You need laughter. You need joy. You need to savor really good moments because what you're doing is building up positive emotion, which actually gives you more cushion, more margin to deal with the hard stuff.
Welcome back. We're in our health and wellness series. Today, we're talking about our mental health. I am thrilled to have my friend Valorie Burton back on the show. Valorie is a best-selling author and speaker and coach who has spent years helping women be more successful. I am a huge fan of hers. I had so much fun in this conversation. She's going to show us how to build our reserves, to bounce back faster, and to choose joy on purpose. It's so data-driven and research-backed. You know that is my jam. I love this. In this episode, we're going to break down simple tools you can use and mindset shifts that can change everything. It's clear, it's practical, and it has a really funny behind-the-scenes story at the end that she's going to tell you that I think you're going to love. Okay, let's get started with my friend Valorie. Valorie, welcome back to the show. Tell me what people get wrong about resilience.
Oh my goodness. Well, I think probably the biggest thing is that we think resilience looks like strength all the way through. And resilience often looks very, very messy in the middle of it. It doesn't actually look resilient at all in the middle of it. It may look like being totally stressed out. It may look like failing. It may look like making multiple mistakes or being in the midst of disappointment. But ultimately, resilience is a system you create that helps you withstand stress and persevere through difficulties. And so it doesn't necessarily look strong in the middle of it. It's on the other end. Did you adapt? Did you recover? Did you overcome?
That's really good. I think for women who are in the middle of a difficult season, they hear words like strength or resilience, and they're like, I don't have time for that. I'm just trying to survive. So I wonder if we're building resilience in the middle of the difficult seasons, but when we're not in the middle of a storm, is that when it's time to really think about it and put these systems together? Because eventually we're going to go back into a storm.
Absolutely. That's when you have the clearest mindset. You've got the energy and the reserves, and you're in a good space. When we are experiencing positive emotion and good things, we actually broaden our scope of thinking. This is what the research shows us. So you make better decisions in those good times. You persevere more in the good times. You're more creative. And so it's really, really wise. And one of the 3 parts of the framework that I talk about in Rules of Resilience is preventive choices. Preventive choices don't necessarily help you when you're in the middle of a storm, but preventive choices reduce the likelihood that you go through a storm in the first place, or it reduces the impact of the storm. So it's those things that you put in place, it's those choices that you make that just make everything easier. And so, yes, when things are going well, this is the best time to prepare because something's coming. I hate to tell you, but life just doesn't always go as planned. And so, it's so important to expect the unexpected, to expect that things may not go as planned. In fact, that's one of the most resilient mindsets you can have, is to prepare in advance for the unexpected.
I love that. I am a big believer that systems are amazing. As an Enneagram 7, it took me years to embrace systems. I now say systems are sexy because they give us what we want in life, right? Systems are very sexy. So I love hearing you talk about systems to build resilience. So when you talk about preventative choices, what comes to mind for me is, having investing or savings that's done automatically. I don't need to think about it. So when that financial storm comes, I'm sat working out every day. So when I am sick and need to get better, I'm in a better place. Things like that.
Exactly.
What are some other preventative choices that'll set us up for success?
Well, you just pointed out 2 really good ones, right? Preventive choices in your finances. We always have heard save for a rainy day, but even just being very intentional about how you spend and what you invest in, those are preventive choices. In your health, I talk in the book about my dad and how at 54, a rare birth defect was discovered just from a routine physical and a doctor that kept pressing with questions. Other doctors had seen an irregular heartbeat, but were like, oh, you're healthy, you're fine.
Mhm.
It turns out my dad had this birth defect where one of his arteries to his heart was going to the wrong place, and the other one had grown to 3.5 times the normal size to compensate.
Wow.
And they said normally this type of defect would have killed him as a child. They had never seen anyone get to their mid-50s. And so we were just totally perplexed. They had to do open heart surgery. And one of the things that the doctor told us was, if you had been a smoker,
Mhm.
if you had not been exercising, because my dad was like, well, I played sports all through high school. I'm retired military. I was in the Air Force for 24 years. And he's like, yeah, those are probably the reasons
Yeah.
that you did not have a heart attack. And, they wouldn't have gone in and figured out he had a birth defect. They would have said it was some kind of a fluke. The preventive choices of a healthy lifestyle actually sustained him and helped his body overcompensate for something. Those are preventive choices, even in our relationships, right? Nurturing your relationships, quality time with your kids that 20 years from now means you actually are able to build friendship with them in adulthood because that bond is there. That's true of any of our friendships. Preventive choices, you have kids. Are you still nurturing friendships, right? Because at some point, you're going to be an empty nester. And have you invested in the kind of social connection that is going to be important as your season changes? There are so many areas where if we think about, and the coaching question to ask yourself is looking back a year from now, looking back 10 years from now, what will you wish you had done? And whatever your answer to that question is probably what you need to do. And it's probably the best preventive choice.
It's so good. The right question can just unlock anything. I remember
Yeah.
at the beginning of COVID, my friend Jo Saxton said to me, and she posed that we were doing every morning we got on Instagram Live together for the whole year of 2020. It was
It's
exhausting. We went through a
amazing. Yeah.
lot. And we were just making ourselves show up. And she posted to me and posted to everyone else. And she said, who do you want to be at the other side of this crisis?
Mhm.
And it made us all sit back and go, who do I want to be at the other end of this
Yeah.
crisis? And what do I need to do today to make sure I'm there?
That's
And
right.
so that's kind of the flip side of that question. But both those questions are so important. If somebody's just hanging on by a thread, what rule that you wrote about is a good place to start?
So there are two. One is choose thoughts that strengthen you.
Mm,
When you're barely hanging on, oftentimes that's when your mind is weakest and will succumb to those thoughts that do not strengthen you. I can't do this. I can't keep holding on. I'm not capable. Whatever's in your mind that is not helpful. One of the most important elements of resilience is thought awareness
mm,
and then thought replacement when the thoughts you're thinking are not helping you, right? So that's critical. The other one I would say is the last one that I share, which is close your energy gap. When you say, "Oh, you're hanging on by a thread," what I'm picturing is you're out of energy. You've given what you have, you're spent. You just feel like, "Can I take another step? Can I keep going?" And so it's really important to give yourself the space and the time to recover energetically. Like when you go through challenge after challenge, it wears you down. I don't care how resilient you are. Repeated challenges can actually change how you think. You might have been the most positive, faith filled person, and you start questioning, is what I believe really true? Am I really all that I thought I was? Am I as strong as I thought I was? You start having those types of thoughts because it takes energy to get through a challenge. And if you're depleting, and then you just keep going and you never replenish your energy, you don't give yourself a break, you don't take the vacation or the staycation, you don't delegate to somebody and go, hey, I can't this week. I'm done. Right. So when you're going through a challenge, you want to question yourself with, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how hard is this challenge? How much energy does this goal take? And if you're at a challenge that's a 10, and then you ask yourself, how much energy do I have? And your energy is a 3, you're going to have a big gap. And so it is critical to close that gap and to give yourself space, time, etc., so that you are able to have the energy to push through the way you need to.
And one thing I've been learning just from having so many neuroscientists on the show in the last year is generally the way we think we're resting is actually exhausting us. So,
Mhm.
what 90% of people do is they flop down on the couch and they start
Yep.
going through short form video,
Yep.
scrolling,
Mhm.
doom
Mhm.
scrolling, scrolling for happiness, whatever it is. But that's actually exhausting our brain. It is
Yep.
depleting our dopamine because we're getting cheap dopamine and then we go into a trough afterwards. So we feel worse. So I think it's so important for us to kind of unpack that because your point is so important. We have to rest, we have to recover so we can be resilient. But the way we're doing it is actually making us feel worse, right?
Absolutely. I actually talk about this in this particular chapter. So the kind of actually play is a great form of rest. So the kind of rest that you need, one, we need rest that's just like doing nothing.
Mhm.
It replenishes us. It may be a walk outside, it may be a nice good nap, a bubble bath, but it can also be doing something that it challenges you, but it's pure fun. It's fully engaging because it uses your strengths and your natural talents, and you're maybe connecting with people in a meaningful way, and it uses the side of your brain that doesn't get used so much in that everyday task routine. I've got to execute on things. And so seeing rest as both of those things, because yes, if you're just scrolling and it's just whatever's coming next and it passes time, but it's not fulfilling. And that doesn't give your brain the kind of rest that really restores you.
Yeah, that's a great point. One thing that I do with my team, and I do client trips throughout the year, is we'll go to Disney or we'll go to Discovery Cove and swim with dolphins, or we'll go ride roller coasters at Universal, or we're just playing. And one of my clients, the first trip we did where we all went to Disney, she's a therapist, and she looked at me and she said, Allie, Disney World without kids is where it's at. Because these are all of these like successful, high powered women. And when I first pitched the idea, we're all going to go to Disney together, they went, why would we do
What?
that?
Yeah.
I mean, I went when my kids were little and it's kind of miserable because kids are crying and they're freaking out. It's just not fun. But then you go and then you go, oh, I'm actually here to play and have fun and just be. And it's
Yeah.
magical what happens because not only are these women having fun and resting and relaxing, once they rest and relax, then they start talking business to each other. And then they start like, they're picking things
Yes.
up, they're solving problems, they're being more creative. And it's amazing. But you got to get out of your normal environment. You got to learn how to play.
Exactly. Yep,
Yeah.
that is exactly right. Play is powerful. And the other thing that play does is it produces positive emotion, which is a really important form of your energy. You wanna create more of that positive emotion because it literally expands your ability to deal with adversity and stress. It builds up like a cushion so that when life knocks you off track, it's like you're landing on a pillow or a mattress. But when you've had nothing but negative emotion, it's like landing on concrete. So when you're going through difficulties, one of the most important things you can do is be careful about, like, who are you spending time with and what kind of emotion is that bringing right now? Like, you don't need the negative person speaking into your life. At that point, you may need to be focused on the one that makes you laugh a lot, or you're reminiscing about really great things, you're doing fun things. And that seems counterintuitive when things are feeling negative. That's not the time to be watching the movie that's making you cry. Pull out the comedy, right? You need laughter, you need joy, you need to savor really good moments because what you're doing is building up positive emotion, which actually gives you more cushion, more margin to deal with the hard stuff.
I love that point that you made that when you're in the middle of it, you're not going to feel like having a fun hang. You'll feel like the sad movie. You'll want to talk to the friend that brings you down, but we have to make the decision to add some padding to this. I was thinking
Absolutely.
this morning about a friend of mine and thinking, I need to turn down the volume that she has in my life, in
Mm,
my ear, because she always has something negative to say. she's not a fun hang because this is a problem and that is a problem. And can you believe this person over here and gossiping
Yeah.
about this? And I love her. I love her dearly. And I'm still going to remain friends with her, but that volume's going to go way down over the next season of my life because it's such an energy drain for me. It makes me
And you can
less resilient.
feel that. You can feel
Mm-hmm.
when the person starts talking, you're like, oh, it's like you're enduring a conversation as
Yeah.
opposed to the person who's not only encouraging, but they're lighthearted about certain things or they remind you of who you really are. That's really powerful. And it's hard when, sometimes those people are people that it's not easy to just like turn down the volume. So I think it's important if those people are a spouse, a
Ooh.
parent, maybe even one of your kids, having a direct conversation
Mhm.
about this concept. Because I have found sometimes that negative people don't even realize how negative they are.
Right.
It may be how they were raised, it may be their complete environment. They don't even hear themselves. And I mean, there are some people that will insist on, it's you. But there are others, nobody actually ever says it. And if you say, hey, I'm in a season where I've gotta stick with the positive, and I don't know if you realize it, but sometimes when we're talking, like, this is the direction it's going in, and I really need like, I'm asking for your help. I really need to be able to focus on the positive, and I'm asking all my friends or I'm asking all my family to help me do that because I'm struggling with, already trying to keep my thoughts in a certain direction. Some people won't respond to it, but you'll be surprised sometimes that many do. And just for the person listening who is like, "Oh my gosh, that is, fill in the blank of somebody that's not gonna be easy to be like, I'm not talking to you."
Yeah, so you might live with them.
Yeah, you might live with them, and my goodness, maybe have them read that chapter of the book.
Well, I'll tell you, I had a similar conversation with my husband at one point
Mm,
where I was like, "You're not a fun hang these days." But I put it in a way that he would be receptive to hearing. And I reminded him that foreplay for women is mental, right?
yes.
And so I said, when everything is negative and everything is like, did you see what's going on in the world over here? And can you believe this person of a different political persuasion said this? I'm like,
Yeah.
that is the opposite of foreplay. So
Right.
if you want me to be happy and friendly, we're going to have to just be be
Be more
less.
intentional.
Yeah, like less complaining. I don't really care about politics. I don't want to hear what's going on over here. We're going to have to change the way we're interacting. And because I phrased it that way, he was like, "Oh, I don't want to produce the opposite of foreplay."
Uh-huh,
And my
uh-huh.
wife's brain.
You found his motivation.
I had to couch it in something that would make him pay attention. Speaking of women and how smart we all are in so many ways, what do you think is kind of a unique challenge for us when it comes to resilience?
Well, I think for women today, we have more expectations on us than any generation of women ever,
True.
and that's because of changes in the last, 50 years at this point, the opportunities that we have, etcetera. So there's the career side, if you're in your career, and women are excelling so much when it comes to the professional world, but then we've got the personal. And for many women, it's yes, maybe it's marriage, maybe it's kids, maybe it's a combination. And for many others, it's not that. Some by choice, many not necessarily by choice. This is kind of an unexpected byproduct of so much of the advances. So the research shows the higher income a woman has, the less likely she is to get married or have kids. And that doesn't necessarily mean that that was the plan that she had. So a lot of women are in their 30s, 40s, even 50s, also making decisions that they weren't expecting to need to make around their personal lives. Additionally, we're we tend to be the caregivers. So anyone that's in that sandwich generation where you've got aging parents and you've also got children, there's just a lot of pressure. And women are far more likely to experience and report depression, about twice as likely as men. We experience it today at a much younger age. The average first onset of depression is 14 years old. at this point. And so there's just a lot that we are dealing with. And we also experience higher highs and lower lows. So when we're happy, we actually feel happier than men.
Hmm.
But when we're down, we
Yeah.
feel lower because we have this, this is great. We are emotionally very intelligent, but we also feel in general in a bigger way. And so I think as women, we need to be aware of those things and also to be aware that when you're following these rules that I talk about, they work. So understanding how to equip yourself to be more resilient. And sometimes that means making hard choices. That means maybe you're not going to go for the big promotion because you've decided in this season that you don't want to add any more stress and that maybe whatever that promotion isn't as meaningful for you right now. It may mean making different choices in your spending or making hard choices to make some changes that maybe you've been talking about a long time, but you realize I need to do something different. And so making those types of choices I think is extremely important.
I guess it's different for everyone, but what do you think it is that keeps us as women from making big changes when we know we need to? What comes to mind for me first is investing in ourselves. I can't tell you how many women that I have worked with, whether it's in courses or one-on-one coaching, have expressed so much guilt for investing in themselves, whether it's buying the course, getting coaching, spending time working out, all of the things that we know if we invest in ourselves and do, it will pay off in spades to everyone around us, our children, our families, our communities. But just this idea of investing in ourselves completely will throw most women into a tizzy. What is that?
So, my last book was called Let Go of the Guilt.
Yeah. We will link to at that episode with you.
Yeah.
Good one.
So women are far more likely to feel guilty, and it's usually more often than not authentic guilt, but false guilt.
Right.
It's when you tell yourself you're doing something wrong, even though you're not actually doing something wrong. And again, this goes back to what I said earlier, rule number 2, choose thoughts that strengthen you. You have got to notice what you are saying to yourself. When you feel any particular emotion, you can go back to a thought that produced that emotion. So if it's guilt, you're telling yourself you're doing something wrong, which is the only reason we ever feel guilty. You've got to ask yourself, am I? And if the answer is no, that's false guilt. Let it go. When I invest in myself, number 1, I'm becoming more of who God's calling me to be. I'm stronger. I'm more capable of showing up in the way that I need to for myself and for the people in my life. And so we've got to tell ourselves the truth. That's where the guilt kind of goes away. But I think what's also important, there's 2 things. One's called affect labeling. It's noticing the thought, the counterproductive thought when it's happening and actually going, "Oh, that's guilt," or, "Oh, that's resentment, that's jealousy," whatever it happens to be, because it interrupts your thinking for you to actually notice. And then rather than that emotion hijacking what you do next, you can actually go, "Oh, I see what's happening, and I'm gonna choose a new action." You don't have to feel like making a change to make a change. So stop telling yourself, "I have to feel like," if I had to feel like writing every time I sat down to write my book, we wouldn't be sitting here talking right now.
Never. Never.
Because, I mean, I had all kinds of thoughts, Allie, that came to me that shocked me because I've been talking about resilience since 2008. I've been speaking on it. I've been trained in this area. I went to grad school in positive psychology. I'm passionate about it. We've created corporate resilience trainings. Like I know this subject. And I started writing about the subject and I had all these little ridiculous. Who are you to talk about resilience? Are you somehow like the poster child for resilience? I mean, you've been through some things, but there are people that have been through far more. Like literally, I'd sit down to write, and I'm being attacked by all of these thoughts, and they were debilitating for a little while until I actually stopped, and I'm like, okay, look at your own rules. Are these thoughts helping you? Or are they hurting you? They're hurting me. Are these thoughts true? I wasn't writing a book on resilience because I was proclaiming that I was the world's most resilient person. was writing a book on resilience because I'm called to help people become more resilient so they can live the life they were created to live. And so I'm sharing from the research, I'm sharing, yes, from personal experience, I'm sharing from all of those things that make up what would inspire and equip people. But I noticed what I was saying, and I was like, that's not even true. I'm not saying that. So being very intentional, I think, is so important, and it's easy for us to let those thoughts rule and not question or push back.
It's so good. I love it too that in the middle of you dropping major truth bombs, someone was like, it's time to trim the hedges.
I was wondering if you could hear them. Uh, do you
But you know
do
what's
you want me
funny?
to pause and go
No, no, no.
outside?
No, no, no. We are gonna leave it in because this is real life. We are resilient women. But when I used to do my show, something would happen, I'd be like, "That's awkward. We'll just" No, it's real life. We're women. You gotta trim the hedges.
So this is an example of resilience. Would you
Yes.
like to hear why?
Yes, I do.
All right. So 2017, my husband and I, on a basically unplanned, decided to buy a horse farm with an airstrip.
Oh.
So we were not planning that, but it had been a dream of mine years ago in my 20s that one day I was going to have a house with some land near a big city and some horses. My husband had a dream one day he'd have a house with an airstrip. My husband's a pilot. I was like, that's ridiculous. Who has an airstrip? Anyway, long story short, I saw a post. I don't even know where I found the listing for this house. I was not planning to buy a house at that time. We were
Mhm.
happy in our old house. And I sent the listing to my husband. That was mistake number one. So I was like, I was just showing you that that's not ridiculous. There are houses with airstrips that people share with their neighbors. Anyway, it's a lot of land, it's a lot of property, and it's been a lot to keep up with, and we decided because we were getting so frustrated with just different things were always coming up. I mean, we've always got fences to fix, or now we've got cows, we don't know where they came from. That's a whole long story, like, literally, cows just showed up, and we've kept them for 2.5 years. Sometimes they get out. I've had to learn how to wrangle the cows back here. I'm like,
That's
"What is going
amazing.
on?" So, anyway, some stuff was going crazy with like grass and everything else. And we recently found these people. We decided that we would kept getting thrown off by things that would need to be fixed or things that would go wrong.
Mhm.
And we needed to start expecting the unexpected. Every time
Good.
something happened that we didn't expect, we'd be like, oh, you know what? This is just too much work. Maybe we should move. But we love where we live. And I realized we keep allowing these things to push our buttons, and we have the same reaction every single time. What we need to do is expect the unexpected. It's been pretty consistent that unexpected things happen. And one of the things that we decided to do, we now have somebody that's bush hogging, and these folks that come and they do a great job. As you can see, they're over here by my office, blowing stuff away, and it makes me very happy. But we created an expect the unexpected fund so
Nice.
that we stop getting thrown off by things that would happen. And that took almost 8 years to figure out. But it was literally, we're wasting time, like literally looking for where else might we move. We're not moving. We
You
just need to adjust.
now at home with those cows. Why would you go anywhere?
Bessie and Lucky. My son Alex has named these 2 Angus cows. It was actually a mother and a calf, and now the calf is as big as the mother, and she's out there with our horse Gabby, and they're eating grass, which is great. Anyway, I digress. But I use this stuff in my everyday life. So when I hear them, I'm like, everything's taken care of. And I actually feel differently because we're not thinking about it. You decide, what do I need to do to handle these things and stop acting shocked and surprised at things that come up that need to be handled. Find a way to handle it so you can relax and enjoy what
I
you've
love it.
actually walked into.
Yeah, you're practicing what you're preaching. That's a great
I
example.
think they're gone now. I think they will not be
Okay.
coming back.
Well, no, it's okay. I just have fun questions for you. What about a song that you have on repeat right now?
You're gonna laugh. It's not me having it on repeat, it's Alex. I think it's called Tour the States.
Who is it? I don't have little ones at home anymore.
It's some pop song that basically lists all the state capitals of each state. It's pretty catchy.
Okay, that's adorable.
Yeah,
I mean,
adorable is a nice way to word it. And I was
okay.
like, I don't remember Augusta, Maine. I was like, I don't think that was the capital when I was a kid, but anyway, I can tell you all the state capitals right now.
There are some states that you hear the capital and you're like, "No, that should not be. Absolutely not. No.
No one's
Sorry,
ever been
Maine.
there. What is
No."
that?
Okay, what about a TV show or movie that you've enjoyed?
I don't watch a lot of TV. We actually went to go see the 50th anniversary of Jaws this past weekend.
Yeah, it was in this weekekend.
I
My
had
son
never
went to go
seen
see it.
it.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I was 2, I think, when it came out, and, they said it was PG. I'm not so sure it should have been
80s PG
PG.
is not the same as
No, they
now.
didn't have PG-13 when Jaws came out. It was good suspense, and, I look at everything as a writer. I also so my husband binge watches things, like, he'll pick a show, and so for 3 months, he'll end up every night watching that, so I'll just sit there with him. Right now, it's The Office, and he also likes With Love, Megan, the Megan Sussex Netflix series,
Yeah.
and so it's very calming. It's like aspirational, and my husband loves gardening. I love gardening, but he really knows how to do it.
Mhm.
So we've put together our harvest baskets, with eggplant and tomatoes, and we've had some asparagus this year, and that's fun. Like, it's
I love
nothing.
that.
It's just in the world we live in, I just feel like having things that are just about making things lovely,
Mhm.
pretty, getting back to, like, basics. And when I was a kid, I spent the summers with my grandparents, and my grandmother everything we ate that was vegetables came from her garden, but I never learned how to do it. So it's been very fun for us doing that.
I love that, and it's a stress reliever.
It's
You're
definitely a stress
replenishing.
relief. I don't wanna watch TV and be stressed.
Yeah.
I don't no.
Mm-mm. Okay, what about a product that you got, you loved, and you told a friend she needed to have it?
I am a sucker for Instagram ads, okay?
True.
And anything in health and wellness, like, it's getting pushed to me because I bought the things. So, I've got a vibration plate.
Oh, I've been thinking about one of those because 'cause I'm a sucker for health and wellness too. Tell me
Yeah.
about it. Okay.
So, I stand on this vibration plate, and it just, like I just m move.
Yep.
Supposedly, it's like you're walking or run depends on where you put your feet on it. I actually find it, rejuvenating and relaxing. I don't know if it's doing something. I feel like it is, but I do that. Sometimes I do it in the evenings, and sometimes I do it in the mornings. Yeah, that's been fun, and Jeff thinks I look hilarious on it.
I don't know if my pride would let me use it with my husband around. Okay, question, because I don't want him to laugh at me, because then I'll get mad at
I'm
him.
just sitting there, like, vibrating, it just moves your feet up and down, and your whole body is kind of jiggling a little bit,
My
and
husband would be like,
yeah.
"Girl, what are you doing now?" Okay, does it shake the room?
Oh, no, mm-mm.
Okay, no, because that in my mind, like, it's gonna shake the shelves. It does
No,
not.
it's not shaking
Okay.
anything.
It's just
It's
shaking you.
supposed to do it's like lymphatic drainage,
Mhm.
and it's good for circulation, and I believe that that is true. I do these things because of, headaches that I've had, and so I've been a lot more intentional just with my eating. I don't eat a lot of sugar. I have to drink a lot of water every day, or I tend to get, a migraine, so I jot down, what I'm doing so that I can connect the dots when I do get a headache, and that has helped me a great deal. So I have figured out what kinds of things the sun, if I'm outside too long and I don't
Mhm.
drink far more water, that can lead to a headache. Exercise helps so much, so I tend to I walk, jog a lot. I try to get at least 30 minutes of cardio about 6 days a week, and I don't press myself for a super hard workout. Sometimes my workouts are hard, but I give myself credit if I can just get out and go walking and, enjoy the birds and a little prayer while I'm doing that, and it makes a tremendous difference.
That's great. Building a lot of resilience all at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, well, you know what? 20 minutes of cardio will boost your mood for up to 24 hours and help you be more resilient, and it
Yep,
works.
that's true. This has been so fun. I could talk to you for hours. Thank you for making time in the middle of book launch. Tell everyone why they need this book and where to find you.
Listen, we all need more resilience. When you think about just everything we're going through today, when we think about everything from the technology, the distractions, the social and political divide, and then just the everyday, whatever's going on in your own life, and you have goals, right? And success requires resilience. So this is why I've written the book, and I really, really want you to help you build your system of resilience and even pay it forward to your kids and the people around you. Imagine being not just a resilience ally, which is what I call people who understand the power of this as a movement, but really being a resilience example.
Mm.
Your kids pick up on what you're doing, the people around you do, and I think together we can create a more resilient world. So, rulesofresiliencebook.com. So, wherever you get the book, go back there. I've got some really great bonuses and some guides around specific seasons of your life that will help coach you with the right kinds of questions that'll help you to be more resilient.
Love it. Well, thank you so much for coming back on the show. This has been great.
Oh, Allie, thank you for having me. You're such a wonderful, thoughtful interviewer, and it's always fun to have good conversations with you.
Thanks so much, Valorie. How great is she? Amazing, right? I'm going to give away lots of copies of her book. Tag Valorie, tag me if you're listening. You'll be entered to win. And if you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed, like it, and leave me a comment, and you'll be entered to win. Now, I want you to think about the things that Valorie and I talked about for a second. We talked about resilience, of course. We talked about strengthening ourselves. And we also talked about the reticence some women feel in investing in themselves. And it's something that I've been trying to help women overcome for years. That guilt, that thought of, if I do anything for myself, it is automatically going to hurt my family. Or I shouldn't be focused on myself. What if it makes me a narcissist? Or what if it makes me too prideful? When our health, our mental health, the health of our business, the health of our ministries, the health of our bodies, all of these things directly affect other people. In our ministry or in our business, the bigger it gets, the more successful it is, the more people we help. With our bodies and our health, we want to be healthy to take care of other people. We want to be healthy to feel good in our skin. We want to show a good example to our families. In our mental health and our emotional health, what we don't heal hurts other people. What we don't process can damage other people. It is on us to do this. No one's going to do it for us. No one's going to come and save us from our own problems. It is up to us to do these things. The best investment that you can make is an investment in you. It's your spiritual health, your physical health, the health of your business, the health of your ministry, because God has given you things to do on this earth that only you can do, and you need to invest in yourself to do it. I often talk from a business perspective about this, that there's this old model of being employed, and then to grow real wealth, you just take out everything that's fun. No extra meals, no guacamole on the side of your food, and you just squirrel that money away. When if you really want to build wealth, you invest in yourself, you invest in networking and your skills and your abilities, and then you make so much more money than you ever could have made by just cutting your expenses little bit by little bit all the time. I tell you all this because something big is happening. So this is a Monday show. My show later in the week, you're going to hear about something that I'm doing in 2026, something that I've never done before, something for you, something that is going to completely change your life if you take advantage of this. It's something that can happen in 2026 that I'm offering transformation. So you can be a different version of you, a better version of you, a happier, more successful version of you at the end of 2026, about a yearish from now, by taking advantage of what I'm going to be telling you about. Am I overhyping it? No. Am I super excited? Yes. I want you to do this. I want you to make sure that you listen to the next episode. It's big. It's an important thing. It's an investment in you. But the best part of it is it's really easy to do. I'm making it accessible. I'm making it simple. But this is your invitation. Start praying about whatever it is that I'm going to talk about, and see if it's a yes, see if it's a go, because it could be the thing that changes your life. Now, as always, I want to remind you that I believe in you. I know what kind of person you are because you're here. You're choosing to learn to up-level your life all the time. You're not someone who wants to stay stagnant. You're not someone who's okay with status quo. You know that God has something for you and you're going for it. God has uniquely created you to stand strong and bring something to this world that only you can. So let me remind you, you're stronger than you think. You're smarter than you give yourself credit for, and you're braver than you feel in the hard moments. And I believe that the best part is you are just getting started. You are capable of incredible things because the Spirit of God lives in you. It is my joy to get to coach you and cheer you on and remind you that with God, you have what it takes. So keep stepping up, keep showing up and loving well, because you know the truth. You can't break a woman who gets her strength from God. I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you again soon.